Hello, Shiblu's looking very dapper today. This is part 7 of the Park Dean nostalgic look back. In this episode, we're going to be discussing the 1 year which stands out in mine and Shiblu's life in an academic sense, and that is the class of 1995. Our teacher that year was none other than Mr. Tony Professor Jones, and it was a unique year with many wonderful memories for both of us. I'd just like to now bring the man with the lovely t-shirt on, Mr. Shiblumia.
Changed my t-shirt today.
Changed it today because it was full of stains in there.
full of
food stains and curry stains.
Yes. Curry stains?
I'm not being racist or stereotypical. But anyway, class of 95. What can you ask? What do you remember from that year, many years ago?
Well, let's start with the people first that were in our class.
Yeah.
James Russell, myself, you, Paul Harrison, Andrew Cook, Stephen Lomax, Marissa was there, Andy Lees wasn't there.
Yeah. Kernet. No, not Kernet, sorry. Sumbler and Shabnam.
Shabnam were in my class, you know.
I think they were both together.
Well, they came in. Shabnam came later. Anyway, let's talk about the atmosphere in the class.
Yeah.
One would describe it amazing.
Yeah, it was.
The atmosphere was amazing to be part of the environment. I mean, believe it or not, we had debates on philosophy. What is the philosophy of life? When was the earth created? How was the earth created? And we actually came with good arguments for that.
Yeah, we had a for and against debate sort of argument with questions at the end.
I remember a time when you kept arguing with Tony Jones, and Tony Jones just raised his hands. And you said, you didn't get blaming Jesus. And that just sticks in my mind.
Yeah.
That just really sticks in my mind. And he was laughing his head off. I got involved up. He said,
yeah. He later told me, years later, because I lived quite near him, he said he used to wind me up, and I think it was a two-way thing. He was a very intense teacher, but when he taught what he taught us, stuck in our mind.
Well, Tony, believe it or not, when I say he was a brilliant teacher, he was a brilliant teacher. I mean, he loved going to work, and he was once teaching a blind student in the school, the different colours.
Yeah.
And for me, that just pretty much teaching to the next level. How do you teach a blind person from birth the colours of life? Well,
for my sort of noble opinion, I have to say that's now impossible. I think if you're blind, let's say in child.
Well, there's two or three ways in my opinion of going from the IT point of view. Different noises are associated with different colours, and different temperatures are associated with different colours as well.
Yeah, but how can you?
Yes.
How can you sort of even imagine the pigment of a colour when you've never actually witnessed it?
Exactly. So I will not be able to comment on that because I'm not professionally trained in that field.
Well, yeah, I mean, going back to the class 95, you know, the topics of debate was right off the university shelf. You know, we talked about euthanasia. We talked about.
Well, trust me, when I say university, it's not a lot, right? University, even at university, they don't talk about that level.
University, to me, is, apart from the odd academic, there's a lot of plagiarism going on, subtle plagiarism, You know, and we I think I can account for that. I don't know if you want to comment on that.
Well,
I mean, that's just
well, let's put it this way. If there's a strong candidate or a strong student in one class, then believe you me, 5 or 6 people will latch onto him.
Of course they will.
And they will get through the course.
And they'll use him, just like they did me. Anyway, that's another thing. Yeah, back to the class in Act 5. Just talking about the characters in the class, there were so many characters which brought about so many different dynamics.
Let's go and Mr. Professor himself, Lomax.
Yeah, Mr. Stephen Lomax.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Stephen.
Yeah. Rest in peace, mate. What he was a very intellectual person. I've already mentioned this, but he was very good at wine. It was. I mean, he was clever I mean, in defining words in general knowledge.
Oh yeah. He was articulate. He was very. I mean, remember he was a year younger than us, and he took his exams.
I remember, but he had guts. He used to fight with anybody. He used to pick fights with anybody. I mean, I don't know. Andy Lees, if you're watching, he picked a fight with you and you ran off. He beat you fair and square.
I think Andrew Lees was like 6 foot and
6'2", and he was 4'1",
something like that. But it just shows Andrew Lees. Andrew Lees now is a great guy. I see him frequently in Oldham.
Yeah.
He's a football fanatic. Sadly, supports Oldham.
There's nothing wrong with Oldham, but there is Oldham.
But yeah,
go there.
But that just showed Stephen's sort of approach to confrontation. What he kind of lacked in size and stature, he made up in absolute intellect and cunning.
So Stephen, bottom line was Stephen was a nice guy.
Yeah.
Until you go on the wrong side of him.
Oh yeah, he'd see his ninja side come out. I remember, and his school bag were lethal. He could fling that school bag around with the force of a baseball bat. And once the kinetic energy connected with your head,
with the anatomy of the human body, he hurt like a man.
Yeah, I think a few of us suffered whiplash, and I've still got neck out now.
Let's go back to guys now. What about James?
Yeah, I think as we've talked in previous discussions, James was he was a quiet person in that year, but he did start to come out of his shell a bit.
I must admit, Kev, James was honourable and decent.
Oh, for me, James was, out of all the class, James is the Mr. Nice Guy. It was like, and he'll always be remembered as that for me.
I think only once in a whole lifespan of knowing him, he swore only once, and even then we were shocked.
Yeah, he swore once, and
I mean the F word, and that.
But that's because he must have got really, really riled to utter an obscenity.
I mean, it was taught to. It wasn't selfish at all. Most people in today's world. It was taught to the helping his friends out. I mean, he always used to back you up with anything.
Yeah, me and James were on a level which I've not experienced with any other friend really, apart from maybe Mr. Shibli Mesa. No. We had a telepathic sort of connection.
Right. Right. So James, well, we miss you terribly, mate. And what can we say? We can't say much, but we miss you.
Yeah.
Believe you me, Kev, when people say me and James were friends, I still miss him, even though today I still remember my mate James.
Yeah.
I do wish people were watching these videos. Let's not name them persons, but they know who they are. And don't think 1 minute I don't miss my mate. Maybe I do.
Is this a Michael Jackson heal the world moment? Is this a political correctness moment?
No, it's not. I'm just.
That's from the heart, that.
Go on, let's
From the
move on.
heart. Yeah,
Paul Harrison.
Paul Harrison is another
What a guy, man. What a guy.
guy.
During our schooling years, Paul tend to be alone.
Yeah, he did tend to just roll his wheelchair in a corner of the room and just.
I mean, I don't know what his problem was. He always wanted to be a black dude.
Yeah, and like
He always wanted to be like the word. If you called him an N-word, referring to another name, he loved that.
Yeah.
I mean, but finally, you grown with it. But
Paul was basically a ladies' man.
Yeah.
And
But the thing is, Kev, yeah.
And he knew how to charm the pants off a bloody dead horse, didn't he? But he was a credit to our class. He was a character, but he wasn't. He was just like more in the periphery. He was a background sort of a statue, if you like. He never played much.
He never even ever once got into a fight or anything. I mean, if he never rebelled against anybody.
He never rebelled. He never questioned authority.
I remember once when we were forced to go into choir, yeah. And then he was crying. Teachers asked us to go into choir, but we said no, we don't want to do it. We're going to do about it, and they went, but they forced him.
Yeah, they forced him into a choir career that he never wanted.
And he started crying.
And he sings a lot of the time in D minor now.
He's a part of a band now or something.
Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
okay, Backstreet Boys is watching. We're joking.
Paul Harrison, 1995.
You can play it after first mentioning him.
Paul Harrison, 95.
Yeah. So what's next? Get out! Come on. Russell Scott Turner.
No, have we talked about it?
No, we've not talking about it. Russell. That guy epitomizes friendship to next level.
Yeah, he was a paragon. He was in many respects, he was like James, but he was more outgoing, more confident.
Yeah, I'm sure if Russell could walk, he would be a fighter, not a lover.
As opposed to a lover.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'd have probably gone in the same footsteps as his brother into the armed forces.
I miss him very much. I mean, if any of the family watching, I miss him very much, and thank you for all your support during that time.
Yeah, I'm sure the feelings reciprocated, you believe me. And I hope sincerely, Russell was that's why I named my son after Russell and James.
Now Russell,
he was a guy who was he loved to get up to a bit of mischief, which is adequate and normal for a teenager. He was very outgoing, very sociable. He loved a quick tinkle on the old computer game now and again.
Now Russell was the man for all that, wasn't he?
He was intellectual. He was articulate. He knew an array of subjects which he could talk in depth in. I remember when we talked about euthanasia one time, and Tony Jones was astonished by his lateral thinking.
Yeah, his his way of thinking was. I mean, let's not be on the bush, right? Yeah, he didn't have a career. He didn't have he didn't have a future. So he even bought it up himself. Talked to Jenny Davis about it. He goes, I'm not going to survive. So what's the point talking about career? And I respect him for that.
Yeah, well, he was a realist, and he didn't beat about the bush.
I mean, I would never become an Olympic gold medalist, right?
Well, you never know. In Paralympics, maybe. And
no. Let's be realistic. I can't beat that Usain Bolt, can I?
in your dreams. Right, and
I could probably shoot him and then
we'll just have
I won't do that.
we'll have to continue this in the next section. Yeah, it's come up to 15 minutes again. So see you shortly.
It's good that, yeah.